So when I was a kid, one of the classes that I always hated was social studies. But I got to liking it when I got to 10th grade, and that's when I took civics. I don't know if it was because I had a great teacher or because at that moment in time my mind was going through a reconfiguring and evolution. And interestingly enough, that was the first time I ever said, you know what? I enjoyed this class despite being social studies. My brother was always the social studies nerd. I mean, he just knew everything at any time. He could remember dates, wars, names, everything that I could never remember. So I thought to myself that one of the things that we take for granted is where you're born and how you, as a citizen of that nation, don't have to worry about some of the things that the foreigners have to. For instance, make sure that your documentation is up to date. I know people who keep mentioning that they have to renew their visas or something. I don't know what that's like. Nobody in my family knows what that's like. So then I thought, I have seen online people from all over doing that type of thing. I once saw someone from England doing their citizenship test, and I thought that the results were hilarious. Then I happened to see an American doing the same thing, taking sample questions of the US citizenship test that they do for you to take the oath to become a US citizen. And now that I think about it, isn't it weird that us as natural born citizens, we actually never did that? We have never actually taken an oath. We're just born, blip, you have your papers, you're good to go. But maybe for the people who have to put henceforth the effort of becoming a citizen, they would take it much more seriously than a citizen, because as a citizen, you know that that doesn't have an expiry. That's your privilege just for being born here. So then I thought, when I was taking that class, I had almost 100% in that class, and I always aced those tests. But sometimes I'll be watching videos in which someone mentions something that I realized I totally forgot what it does. And one of the things that I heard was the insular cases, which I remember it came up on my test, but in class we never went over that. So it was one of those questions that I told my teacher, hey, for the final exam, this question popped up and I have no recollection of us going over this. And he said, oh yeah, that comes up once in a while. And you're right, we never went over it. So then I said, well, based off that memory, I thought I would try a sample of the US citizenship quiz. Now I wanted to take the actual exam questions if they were available, but the website that I was on, it had, like, for instance, what is our written plan of government, and right below it, it said Constitution. I was looking for a test in which there's like a multiple choice and I can interact with it and it would tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think I found one of those. I thought, let's try it and see how well I remember shit and kind of reflect on it. And let's see, I cannot see the website I'm on, americanhistory.si.edu. And it looks like this. And yeah, so we'll see what this is like. And hopefully it works how I intend. The first question is, who does a US Senator represent? Okay, so it does offer multiple choice questions. A senator, all of the people of the state, all of the people of a country, some of the people of a city, all the people of a US territory. I think it's all of the people of the state, because if I remember right, there are 100 senators and I think we get 2 per state. And if there are 50 states times 2, that's 100. So I think it's a... Okay, it looks like I got it right. All right. Who is in charge of the executive branch? Executive means you execute the laws, and that's usually the president. Boom, got it right. I'm going to try to minimize how much I edit from here on out, and that way there's gonna be a lot of stuttering probably, but that way I feel like it's more genuine. What movement tried to end racial discrimination? I want to say civil rights before the choices come up. Yeah, so civil rights movement. Yep, civil rights movement. Name one of the 2 longest rivers in the US. Oh, as a geology lady, I should know this. One of the 2 longest. Rio Grande. We have a Rio Grande. Mississippi, Colorado, Columbia. I want to say Mississippi because I feel like during that class, Mississippi is all we talked about. Okay, it looks like I got it right. Next. Why does the flag have 50 stars? They represent each of the states. Because 50 is a lucky number. Because there's 1 star for each member of Congress. Because 50 people died in the Civil War. Because there is 1 star for each state. Yep, got it right. What did Martin Luther King Jr. do? Civil rights movement? Set up our government, fought for civil rights, freed the slaves, wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. Fought for civil rights. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? The flag, and by definition, the country. The national anthem, the party of the current president, the United Nations, the United States, the United States. What are 2 cabinet level positions? Cabinet? I think the cabinet are the clowns who advise the president. So let's see, state governor and the president, secretary of education and commander-in-chief, secretary of labor and secretary of state. That sounds about right. Chief justice of the Supreme Court and speaker of the House. No, secretary of, it's the secretaries. Yep, got it. We elect a U.S. senator for how many years? 8? 2? Shit, I'm gonna get this one wrong. 2, 10, 4, or 6? I can't remember if they have longer terms than the president or shorter. Because if they have longer, it's 6. And if they have shorter, it's 2. Senatorial elections. Okay, this is probably the first one I'm gonna get wrong. I'm gonna say 2. Okay, I got it wrong. Was it 6? It doesn't tell me what was the right answer. Well, I'm gonna click repeat the question and see if it lets me do it again. No, it won't let me. Okay, no problem. We'll figure it out. Maybe in the end it'll show me the right answers. What did the Declaration of Independence do? Independicize us from Great Britain. Freed the slaves, started the first free libraries, said that the United States is free, defined the government. This is actually a tricky question. Defined the government or said that the United States is free. I'm gonna get it wrong. You wanna see? Well, when you declare independence, it means that you're no longer associated with a bigger country. But did it define the government? Because I think the Constitution is what defines the government. So I think it said that the United States is free. Yep, I got it right. But see, this is the reason I make that kind of commentary is because I want you guys to see how, as an anxious person, I got 9 out of 10 correct. As an anxious person, that's how I used to think as a student. I always thought that even the simplest question had a trick to get me. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the correct answer is 6. And what's sad is that I initially had that impulse because when I was taking civics, I thought to myself, I gotta remember that the president has a limit of 4 years in a term. Like that's what their term runs for. But a senator can serve for slightly longer. And then I said, they can serve for slightly longer, but slightly shorter if a president runs for their second term, and that way it becomes 8 years, which is the max for the president. And that's the way that I remembered shit. Like, I was never really, in theory, very smart, but I just had this talent of creating associative techniques that would help me remember shit. Well, this was cool. I wish that we had like more questions. Let's see if I start a new test, it gives me different questions. Oh, it does. I'm gonna do one more round and see how I do. Who was the first president? Washington. Yep, got it right. What is the capital of the United States? DC. Boom. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? Territory? From France? I need multiple choices. It's gotta be the Louisiana Territory. Yeah, got it. See, when I hear it like that, I'm thinking, wait, what do you mean? What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? That's a repeat. The United States. Name one right only for United States citizens. Join a political party, run for a federal office, call senators and representatives, freedom of religion. Run for federal office? Yep. Makes sense. The reason I picked that is because I'm aware that only natural born citizens can run for the presidency. As far as I'm aware, if I remember correctly, if you're a naturalized citizen, meaning you took the test and became a US citizen, you cannot run for office. But you can hold the office. Like say, I remember Arnold, isn't he Austrian? And he was the governor of California. I don't think he could have ran for president though. Could he have run for president? You guys let me know because I'm not sure about that one anymore. But when I was in school, I was sure for sure. What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? The Bill of Rights? Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, Federalist Papers, checks and balances. Nah, it's the Bill of Rights. Yep, got it. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. The War of 1812? World War I, War of Independence, Korean War, Civil War. Civil War, yep, got it. What does the Constitution do? It's a written plan of government. Made DC the capital, defines our system of government, freed slaves, announced our independence from Britain, defines our system for gov. Where is the Statue of Liberty? In Texas! No, I'm just fucking. New York Harbor. There were 13 original states, name 3. I'm gonna try to do this without multiple choices. We had... Where did it start? I would imagine we had places like... It was pretty much the East Coast, so I should know this. I'm from the East Coast. So, New York? Why is this so hard for me? New Hampshire? Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. I'm dead ass struggling with this because I have like the shape of the US in my brain, but I cannot see what's in there. So anyways, I'm gonna recur to multiple choices. Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, that's in the South. New York, Virginia, Massachusetts, that's it. Utah, Nebraska, Kansas, that is in the middle of the country. No. Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, nah, it's B. Yeah. I was dead ass struggling. I couldn't remember Massachusetts at all. You got 10 out of 10 correct. Woo! I'm gonna start a new test and breeze through it and see if there are any new questions, and if there aren't, then this is gonna be the end of it. What is one reason colonists came to America? To avoid taxes? Slavery, set up their monarchy, political liberty, communism. Political liberty? Yep. What was one important thing that Abraham Lincoln did? This one's always tricky. I want to say emancipation, but let's see what the choices give. Fought for women's right, freed the Native Americans, freed the slaves, made maps of the Louisiana Territory, freed slaves. If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president? The speaker. Boom! What territory did the U.S. buy from her? We did that one. Louisiana. Name the U.S. war between the North and the South. Civil War? Boom! Name one state that borders Canada. Maine? Texas, Arizona, Louisiana, Minnesota. It's gotta be Minnesota. Boom! Fun fact, right now, off the top of my head, if I were to see a US map without any labels, I'm not sure I could pick Minnesota. So, just so you know. What did MLK do? We did that one. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them. Women's suffrage? That'd be one of them. Anyone in the US during an election can vote. Citizens 25 and older. Every citizen must vote in every federal election. You do not have to pay a poll tax to vote. That one. That's funny. Anyone in the US can... Nah. What group of people was taken to America and sold as slaves? African Americans? Africans. Okay, there we go. Spaniards. Can you imagine that? What is the name of the national anthem? The Pledge of Allegiance? Nah, I'm just kidding. The name of the national anthem is the Star Spangled Banner. Boom! You got 10 out of 10. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. I'm actually quite smart in social studies. Technically, I got every question right, and the senator one kind of tricked me because it's been a minute, and I'm not necessarily like the most invested in politics and stuff like that. But this was fun. I'll try to find similar tests to this because I think it's nice to kind of exercise my brain in that type of thing. Maybe I'll try a math one and you guys can see me absolutely get washed by it. But I think that the hardest part of a test for me is remembering dates. Like, for instance, the Battle of Antietam. Heard of it? I don't remember shit, but as soon as I were to hear the definition, it would come back for me. Battle of Fort Sumter. Heard of it? I don't fucking remember. Those things, like the battle of this, the battle of that, I know that those have historical significance, but I don't remember quite what it was. That's what I mean by I'm bad at history. But when it comes to definitions, like definition of words, those crazy words that teachers would say, like, what does annexation mean? To add land. What does suffrage mean? The right to vote. What does veto mean? Like, what is it? Veto is when you don't accept something. Like the president vetoes a bill, like he doesn't sign it into law, whatever the fuck, whatever the proper word is. See, little things like that. I'm fine with remembering words, but remembering dates, events, and faces and names, fuck that. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.